got my hands on another relatively low priced ball, the Sugar, which is claiming to have high performance. I'm going to put it up against Pro V1, but can it compete? Okay, so we're going to start with the wedge. We're going to hit some with the 7-iron, I'm going to hit some with the driver as well. We'll go with the Pro V1 first with the wedge, and then we'll collect some data with the Sugar and see if there's any real difference. Right, let's hit some of the Sugar ball now and see if there's any real difference between these two golf balls from 120 out. Okay, so let's have a look at these average numbers with the Sugar ball and the Pro V1. Now, ball speed, very similar. This is a little bit more to do with my input, to be honest, rather than the golf ball. Got launch angle, again, very similar, kind of within a degree of one another. Spin rate, important number. Now on these shots, this collection of shots, the Sugar ball is actually spinning a little bit more, kind of almost 200 RPM more. That's probably not going to show up on the golf course, but it is interesting to see that the Sugar ball spins at least as much as the Pro V. And if we look at the club data, average strike was very similar, so I can't really see that the strike was affecting these numbers too much. Switching back to the ball data, 121 carry with the Sugar, 120 with the Pro V, 122 total with the Sugar, 121 with the Pro V, so very, very similar. I was trying to carry these shots 120, and they both felt very much under control over this distance. Now let's shift to 170 out with a 7-iron, and we'll start with the Pro V1. Now for the Sugar ball, let's see how this compares from 170 out. Looking at the numbers, these are so close together. Sugar 122.9 ball speed, 122.3 with Pro V1. Just to let you know, swinging pretty much full out, so these carry distances are pretty much what I'd expect, and ball speeds, to be honest. So they're very, very similar. Launch angle, identical. Spin rate, pretty much identical. I mean, you could put this potentially down to strike, although strike was very, very similar with both clubs. Balls, sorry, not clubs. So these spin rates, very, very similar. Carry yardage, 170, 169, 174, 172, ball just rolling out a fraction more with the sugar on the other end, but I don't really think you'd see that on the actual golf course itself. Club data, efficiency, pretty much identical. Club speed, pretty much identical. So we can say, and strike as well. So within a certain degree of certainty, I can see that these golf balls are pretty much identical from 170 out. Right, now for the big stick, let's start with the Titleist again. Right, last one with the sugar ball, and then we'll take a look at these driver numbers. So as you can see, both definitely going left bias, so that's something I'm going to have to rectify over the coming weeks. Let's look at the ball speed. With the Sugar 163 basically, versus basically 164 with the Pro V1, so just a little fraction more ball speed with the Pro V. Launch angle, there's 1 degree difference in that. That could well be human input as opposed to the actual performance of the ball. Spin rate, 2627 with the Sugar, 2511 with the Pro V1. Again, this is subjective to the strike. Average strike with the Pro V, slightly higher up the face, slightly more towards the toe. That could just drop the spin rate just a fraction. Possibly that amount, possibly that amount. So again, very, very close between these two golf balls. Carry 278 with the Sugar, 281 with the Pro V, so a little bit longer with the Pro V. Total yards 295 with the Sugar, 294 with the Pro V. We're not going to take too much notice of that number because it's subjective to what the ball is actually rolling into out there on the golf course scenario, which I've got set up. But we can take notice of this carry distance. So just a fraction longer with the Pro V, 3 yards. Is that something that you'd see on the course? Not necessarily. I think these two golf balls are very closely matched. And just before we go, I just want to look at club speed. There was a little fraction more club speed with the Pro V1. Again, this could be contributing to that slightly longer carry. So to conclude, I think we've got a smashing little golf ball here with the Sugar. I couldn't tell the difference between this and the Pro V1, and the price difference is quite considerable. You don't get any package in mind. Now, for those of you that are interested in how this golf ball feels, I've hit quite a few putts and quite a few chips, and there was no way for me to be able to differentiate between these two golf balls. They felt identical to me. So with identical feel, practically identical performance, but a price which is quite different, the Sugar ball is definitely a ball that should be on your radar, certainly if you're wanting to save some pennies. So as always, thanks for watching the video, subscribe to the channel, like the video, I'll see you again in the next one.